Hello, my name is Miguel Gomez, and I'm doing transgender families relating to Luna. I'm doing it this way because when I put it in full screen, something was happening with my screen recording. Transgender family challenges. Transgender families fear that hate crimes may occur. So these hate crimes can be either, public, within organizations, or in school districts. Some of these hate crimes might be older people calling out transgender families, or in schools, kids might get teased because either their parents are transgender or they are, and this can cause confidence issues. It can cause families to hide, and of course to fear those being transgender in general. And trans family members are rejected by their own family. That's another challenge. So this happens a lot, especially when one comes out for their family. This can also happen when children don't support their parents in their decisions. Another transgender family challenge would be fostering and adopting children. So in the records, it's seen that transgender families are actually most of the time rejected for fostering and adopting children because they're not seen as sort of co-parents. They're not a mother and a father. So therefore, they don't qualify to be fostering or adopting any children. Another challenge would be parental recognition. This means not parental recognition by their children, but more by other people or sort of like organizations. So they're not seen as a mother or father again, because one doesn't have a sperm and the other one might not have an egg. So if they don't have that, then they're not seen as parents. Along with having children, they might not be seen as parents, they might just be seen as caretakers, which is another challenge they face. Another transgender family challenge would be school and education. So, like I said, in school, when somebody is transgender in a family, or if they have a family that is transgender, there is a high case of them being bullied or taunted for having that. And also, education systems might deny transgender families. This is just seen in data that it's less common for transgender families to be accepted into higher schools that require tests. Another challenge would be income inequality. So it's seen that transgender families actually have a lower pay than men and women, and this being the case that they are transgender and they're seen differently from others, and others might not accept who they truly are. And these transgender families should be recorded across the U.S. The reason I'm emphasizing on this is because the challenges do range very far. It can be from as simple as, when they first have a child themselves, families, or when they have a child that is trans. There's problems that occur within that family, all the way up until the government. How did Luna and her family handle these challenges? So, in Luna's family, her dad actually resents her and was angry with the path she had chosen, which is actually one of the reasons. And Luna's mother accepted and knew that Luna was actually trans towards the end, and at first Luna tried to hide her identity so no one would judge her. This then caused Reagan to feel pressured and overwhelmed. And Luna's family, which might be what most families feel when they have a children who is transgender, because they want to hide her identity sometimes so she doesn't face any of those tough challenges or any discrimination. And Reagan also did feel that Luna made her life harder than it needed to be. But in the end, Reagan still accepted and loved Luna for who she was. 3 examples of how they dealt with the challenges. One example would be when Luna explains to her dad what's going on with her. He gets angry and kind of almost hits her. He forms kind of like an action that seems like it would. And Luna's mom was leaving pills out in order to help her through her transition. And this we find out towards the end as well. Reagan says that Luna, in most of the story, Reagan basically insinuates that Luna is a burden in her life. But in the end, Reagan understands that Luna's transition is hard, and that there are times when Luna has the right to, or Reagan enjoys helping Luna through her journey, and she still enjoys and loves her. The three examples demonstrate how Luna's family reacted after finding out she came out as transgender. So this wasn't during. They didn't really understand what was happening. They just kind of had suspicions. It resulted in, except for the mother, she didn't know, but we did not know until the end. It resulted in a split of family argument. This occurs in a lot of families with parties, with this transgender party. Some split, some disown, and some stayed lucky, and some stay together. How do people in the U.S. handle these challenges? So how people handle this in the U.S. is a lot of times they think federally by making laws and policies that would support transgender families. They also bring attention to the struggles that transgender families have in school systems. This would again be like the acceptance and anti-bullying regulations. And also they join movements and gain support to have more people come out from hiding. And this overall just creates a bigger community, which in the government side and other people's eyes, they would start to see it as more and more important of an issue. And they also raise the minimum wage for trans people in general. For trans people and in general. And this would help the income inequality aspect. How do people in the U.S. handle the challenges? Family. So these are some of the families can. This is like within the family. Families can bring attention to their children to prevent bullying. Families can explain their struggles to their children, let them know their path is okay and respected. Another would be to fight to identify that trans families have the rights to be considered like any other family. And then just overall bring awareness to the issue amongst their family members. Should they handle any of the issues differently? I believe that some of the actions they are taking are well thought out and do provide good results. These would include like legal actions or any peaceful protest or bringing awareness to the families. There are other actions, very minor, that don't really occur as much, and this would include any violence or bad mouthing of those who are against them. Although they might say something back, it's better to keep it peaceful, or it can be harmful to their cause. So these are the points that I find they're handling the issue well on, is taking legal action, because this can bring about permanent laws or policies for transgender families. And legal action can be civil and respected, which means the government can't really put anything against them because everything they're doing is civil. And parades can spread awareness, can be seen as an open invite to other transgender members or transgender families. And families can explain the struggles to their trans kids, and that can bring in more support. And families learning about transgender issues can provide more acceptance within families. Now, should they handle the issues differently? So as for handling the issues differently, although it doesn't happen a lot, they shouldn't inflict any violence that can be seen as inhumane. The reason I say this is because having any sort of violence, the government can see this as a way of pushing back against those transgender laws. They can find ways to say that it was inhumane, or what they're doing caused violence, which then, again, in legal action can actually hurt their their issues. And they shouldn't, there's a lot of parades, and a lot of parades might affect larger buildings like capitals or important buildings or anything like that, and I think they shouldn't charge any buildings. They can have peaceful protests outside, which would seen as civil, but anything more would hurt against their cause. These are my cited sources, and thank you for listening. This is Miguel Gomez.